Would you sue someone who linked you up with murderers for your opinions?
You tell me.
I will. I certainly will. I spent my entire life creating a great reputation amongst millions and millions of Americans, and I certainly don't want to drag through the mud by this Home Secretary who thinks that I should be linked up with murderers and terrorists. Remember,
this is Michael Savage. I'm playing a snippet for you of an interview I did this morning with Sky News in London. Later on, I did a television piece with BBC and then another piece with CNN. And what's interesting to me is that virtually every major network in the world has called me for an interview on this astonishing turn of events, except one, and that's Fox News, and I'll let you decide if they're fair and balanced. How is it that the so-called conservative network, Fox News, is not interested in a story about the banning of a talk show host in the United States of America? I am again going to say to Jackie Smith, the so-called Home Secretary of the government of England, that unless you remove my name forthwith, unless you admit you made a mistake, and you send me a letter of apology, I will bring a major libel suit against you personally, and I will win. My attorneys have been in touch with attorneys in your nation, and they say you have committed serious libel. Moreover, I will continue and I will escalate my calls for a travel ban to England and a ban on buying all British goods by my audience of 8 to 10 million listeners. Now, you may say, oh, he's just whistling in the wind. Well, you can say anything you want. But I'm telling you right now that if you keep this up, if you keep smearing my name, if you refuse to admit that you made a mistake, England is going to pay for it financially. The phone number here is 1-800-449-8255. A Daily Mail online poll came out as of 3 p.m. Pacific time, and it's in England. It says, should U.S. talk show host Michael Savage be banned from the UK? Yes, 21%, no, 79%. So 8 out of 10 Brits say no, of course he shouldn't be banned. So that means that the smallest minority of people in England who have been hijacked by a government that represents the tiniest, smallest group of extremists in England have hijacked this group of extremists, has elected a government in Labour that has hijacked the people themselves and put them in prison, the prison of England. The important thing for you to know is that I found out who my friends are and who my friends aren't. Many people say, oh, wow, this guy's enjoying it. He really needed it. I don't need it. In fact, I didn't need it at all. I've been doing very well indeed, and I've been thinking a long time, this is only going to make me stay in radio until my name is cleared and until I clear up a few other things. I do not need this publicity. I haven't needed this publicity to achieve what I've achieved. But I found out who my friends are and who they aren't, both in my personal life and in the media. And again, I want to repeat, even CNN sent a film crew out to get my side of the story. Of course, they'll edit it and try to slant it, but I understand that. The only network who is told that they cannot cover it is Fox News, fair and balanced. I'm going to take your calls right now. In London, Luke, you're on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
First of all, I'd like to say that what our government's done, the British people, we don't agree with it. You know, we didn't vote our Prime Minister into office. He just came into office because Blair left. So, the British people do not, they don't represent our views. And I don't think
Well, the important thing then is for the British people, the 80% of the people who said, no, I shouldn't be banned, I think you ought to flood the Home Secretary's office and the PM's office and the travel office with letters demanding that she remove my name and send me a letter of apology.
I agree with you, and I don't think they'll listen to us because this government they're not listening. This is why the British people want the Conservatives to be voted in at the next election.
I hope the Conservatives win, and when they do, I hope that they undo the damage that this government has done to your people and your nation's reputation, and I am hopeful that they will send me a letter of invitation to appear before Parliament and present my points of view. That is what I am hoping for.
I agree, and I would say to you also that, on this list, the people you've been named with are to do with other clerics and things like that who are banned because they incite hatred, terrorism, things like that. The problem here is that our government is so lax on that. They're so weak. They say that they stand against terrorism, but we've had a guy who was shot in cold blood on the tube, who they thought was a terrorist. They found out minutes later that he wasn't a terrorist. They just got the wrong person, the wrong description.
I remember that story. I do remember that. Well, I wish you great luck. I hope that your country can save itself again. You are very close to what Winston Churchill said just before the Battle of Britain. Only most of the people in England don't know it. Thank you very much for listening and calling the Savage Nation. 1-800-449-8255. As I say, this certainly put a damper on my summer travel plans because I was considering going over to England for their famous medical care. I guess that's off for now. I'll be right back.